Hey everybody, Dawn McGee here, your wellness strategist and nutrition evangelist. And I'm really excited because I have got a trip coming up. I'm heading to Athens and Croatia, and I've got all the things ready. Um, I've got my life set, I've got my business set, I've got my packages held, I've got my house sitter and plant waterer coming. I'm packed, and I've got some tours booked, and I've got plenty of free time for relaxation. I've got my business stuff in my calendar so I don't miss any of that. And it's going to be fabulous. And how can you do all this with your life and your business? Well, it really comes down to systems. And so you may not think about how you run things as a system, but if you start to break it down, you'll see that the systems that you use in one area are ones that you can use in another area. What do I mean? Well, my calendar, for example. In my daily work life, I use my calendar to keep track of all of my appointments and client sessions and even things that I want to do, and I want to set aside a particular time of day to do them. I know that my creative time is better in the mid afternoon, my workout time is better in the morning, and in the late afternoon, I need some downtime. Sit, read, walk, chill, whatever it is. So I build those into my calendar. And I do the same when I'm traveling. I've got clients that I'm going to continue seeing, so I've got that in my calendar. I've got a couple of fun food and city tours that I've booked. Those are in my calendar. I've got my hotels, I've got my transportation. It's all there, and that's a system. I use my calendar as a system so that I don't miss any information. Now, the digital world makes it a lot easier than it did 20 years ago when I had to print out maps to get where I was going and I had to print out my boarding pass. Now everything is in my digital wallet, and that's super easy. Use that as a system. Leverage that so that you've got everything you need. An example of another system is how I pack my bags for travel. My clothes, for example, we're heading into fall, even though it'll be fairly temperate in the Adriatic. But cool nights, warmer days means layers. Now we're used to that in New England, so packing for layers is second nature. But I've got a couple of long sleeve layering pieces. I've got a couple of short sleeve pieces. I've got some shorts. I've got a bathing suit. I've got some pants. I've got a scarf. I've got a warmer jacket, right? So I've got things for all of the possible weather options. Also an umbrella, um, and hiking shoes because we're going to be doing some waterfall treks. So that's a packing system for my clothes. Then my carry-ons. Now, if you've been traveling a lot, you may have experienced sometimes where your luggage didn't make it to where you were going at the same time. So I travel with a small, really small duffel bag, and I've got a couple of clothing options in it so that if my luggage doesn't arrive with me, I'm okay for the first couple of days and I don't have to go shopping right away. Things that are really important that I don't want to shop for at all, like I packed my bathing suit. I packed, a change of clothes. I packed a sweater, packed a dress to go out to dinner. Stuff that packs down really easily. Snacks for the flight, super important because I want to eat what I want to eat and not be at the mercy of whatever I happen to find in an airport. Um, all of those things, my supplements, the things that I don't want to replace, that comes with me in a carry-on bag. And then I've got my purse, and I've got a pouch for my passport, I've got a pouch for my currency, and I do that in a way that my passport and my ID really never leaves my person. Very important when I'm traveling in an airport. And I've got a place to keep my phone that is zipped up because I have indeed been pickpocketed when I've been traveling. And while it wasn't the end of the world, it definitely sort of mucked up my vacation. So those are a couple of systems that I use to make sure that things are going to go smoothly. Don't worry, there will be plenty and plenty of fun time. There'll be plenty of foodie time. I've got at least 4 different food things booked. The last week of my trip is a whole culinary retreat where we'll be doing cooking classes, wine tastings, market tours, and plenty of walking. One of the things that I like to do as part of my tours is I do walking tours so that I'm not sitting in a bus all day. I get the fresh air, I get movement in, I get to see the city and the sights, I get to do people watching. These are all things that I love. So when you take a trip and you want to plan your systems, make sure you're doing the things that you love and you've built them in along with the things that maybe you have to do or the people you're traveling with want to do. It's all about balancing, getting your systems in place. So stay tuned for the next couple of weeks as I will be popping in, hopefully a little bit more regularly, with some fun stuff from my travels. As always, what I hope for you is that you live a life you love without giving up the things that bring you joy. And until next week.